The dip of the dippity dip dip. Are we buying the dip? We're selling the dip? A lot of dips here, you know? Jalapeno cheddar dip, crypto dips. Bittensor, Solana. We have a couple other ones that we're potentially buying dips on. We got Magic Internet Money joining us live to break down charts. We'll look at a Bitcoin chart, a Solana chart, a Bittensor chart. Maybe see if Magic's got any open trades. And speaking of open trades, we may have nailed a AVE short yesterday. Shout out to those of you that were watching the trading show live. If you haven't caught a trading show live, do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Big update from Virtual's protocol. Very interesting. This could be a make or break moment for the project. I have the whole thing broken down. The new unicorn, Genesis is going bye-bye. I have it all broken down. And a new sniper tax. Very interesting. I'll share that with you as well. And then we have some pretty big news coming out of Japan. The ETFs had a massive day yesterday. BNB doesn't seem to care. It's trading almost at $1,300. How much higher can BNB coin go? We're going to talk about that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Gina, roll the intro.
Hola! Is your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. We take old, boring, and stale information, repackage it all up in a fun and entertaining kind of way. We do what Vegas does best. We keep it flashy and classy. That's right. Well, you know, you brought up a very interesting article or take yesterday. Someone said the top is in, you know, the top would all-time high top yesterday. Predicted this in 2023, and then off a cliff, there we go. I mean, not one of those Grand Canyon kind of cliffs, but from 25, 26 to 21, 121,000, we did see quite a pullback this morning. Do you still got that, what was it, that tweet or note or whatever it was from that guy yesterday where they were talking about the top?
Oh, October 6th? From the 4chan?
Yeah.
I don't, but you remember it clearly.
I asked you, do you have it?
I don't.
Pulled up? No?
Do you want me to pull it up?
I was just saying, it's very, very interesting, right? Yesterday, we kind of laughed at it. On one hand, they were like, well, they did hit an all-time high, as said, but that would also mean that that was the top. And, well, we are underneath that 25 mark now. Very interesting. Also, a lot of activity in the alts. We got some. Oh, you got it? There it is. Yeah, that was yesterday. That's very interesting.
Very interesting. You think it's a, what do they call it? When you, like, think about it so much it comes to life, you manifest it? You think the markets are manifesting this guy or girl?
So, to this account, he's saying that literally the absolute top is set at October 6th, 2025, which was yesterday. Which
would mean
currently the 126K is in this man's prediction the top. And if you were to look in hindsight, be like, when was the top? Well, it was October 6th. It's interesting, man. Interesting. Had we been today at 126 or 127, you know, been hanging out 125, cool, man. But if that was the top, what a freaking call, bro. I don't think it is.
I don't think it's top.
I don't think it is, but
I think certain forces, you know, people like to
Air Forces?
No.
Ones?
People like to, you know, people blame the market makers. Binance is dumping. They're pushing the price down. Maybe some of these forces, they decided to use this as an opportunity.
Why are you saying forces so strong?
Because I don't want to allege something that
we're gonna
held liable for.
You think?
I'm not going to say Binance is dumping the market.
Binance is going to pull up outside in suits and silencers and take you out, bro.
No, but they can take you out with a court order. Anyways, dude, but that's
for
not
what? We say they manipulate all the time.
That's besides the point.
Give me the camera. Give me the camera. Binance, shame on you. We know you cooked the order books. Stop it. Stop it. Ain't nobody gonna pull up outside in a black SUV and silencers. I ain't scared. Not that scared.
You're a little scared. Okay, what I'm trying to say is maybe they use this as an opportunity to make people believe that it's true, and then bam, another leg up. I don't know. I don't think the top is in. My common sense meter in my brain will not allow me.
Hold on. You got a common sense meter in your brain?
It goes like this.
Wow.
When you're talking, it goes down to zero.
Is that like a post-birth? Is that like an install you got?
No,
like
you kill my brain. So when you start talking, my common sense goes like this. And then when everyone outside,
I'm just imagining like one of those like pressure valves that you see in the movies that sounds like a kettle pot like steaming, like and the meter's just shaking.
Yeah. Well, can I just finish a statement without you interrupting?
I was just curious about finding out more about your common sense meter. It was very intriguing. I don't have a common sense meter.
What I'm trying to say is the common sense in me is saying that with everything we're seeing, and I'll show you some of the things that we're seeing, like this, 2 billion in 2 days were bought by the institutions. Okay? Does that tell you the top is in? Is the top win when Wall Street and BlackRock investors and Fidelity investors, when they're pouring in billions of dollars into Bitcoin? Does that say the top is in? No. Does it say the top is in when you see stuff like this? Morgan Stanley's Global Investment Committee now recommends allocating up to 4% of their portfolios, their clients' portfolios, to crypto for growth-oriented investors. Now, they have a chart. Wealth conservation, 0%. Income, 0%. If you want balanced growth, they recommend 2%. If you want market growth, 3%, and opportunistic growth. That means you're a complete degenerate. They say 4%. Is the top in when one of the largest companies in the world of finance, Morgan Stanley, who is owned by one of the largest banks in the world, Bank of America, comes out and says, we recommend a 4% allocation for those looking for opportunistic market entries? Does that mean the top is in? No. Or what about when people like Paul Tudor Jones talking about Bitcoin being digital gold? Now, remember, this is the gentleman that came in and a while ago, I think it was during COVID when everything was down. Well, listen to what Paul Tudor Jones had to say.
If you look at the biggest winners, right? The biggest winners are gold. I think it's up 46, 47%. Bitcoin, I want to say it's up 50 or 60. I'm not even sure. There's a Morgan Stanley basket that's a retail flow basket that has all the meme stocks in it. It's up 67, 68%. So it's really what retail jumps on. So crypto, digital gold, that's obviously something that's very, very appealing.
Does that mean you're jumping on all of that right now?
Well, I'd want to have positions in all of it, for sure. So if you said to me, what are going to be the winners? Again, we have this race.
Right.
The race, realistically, is certainly to the end of the year because that's when everyone marks institutionally. And then you have to figure out what's going to go on in next year. So what would I want to have? I'd want to have a combination of gold, crypto, probably the NASDAQ. I think... I want to say that I've said that before, and I think that's still the right one. And I think whatever the fastest horse is at this point in time probably has a good chance of being that on deck 31.
Okay, so there you have that as well. And so, I don't know. I just look at all of that in a nutshell, and I sit there and I ask myself, does it make sense that the top would be in when we're seeing this? Usually, toppy behavior is overheated markets, people snapshotting their portfolios, us having 3,000 live viewers of just absolute degenerates saying, hey, I made a 50x on this coin. Also, maybe a treasury company has blown up already, or you're hearing signs, but we're not seeing any of that. So to me, the top is not good.
Don't you think that
No.
mainstream media being extremely overzealous and covering this, and companies coming in and saying, "Yay, we're pro Bitcoin"? Isn't that just toppy behavior in itself? Isn't the idea that like, hey, look at all the bullish news? That's usually when tops come in, right? when everyone is getting euphoric and everyone's talking about like how bullish this is and like, oh my God, there's no way this can ever crash. Typically, that's when you crash. Now, I still want to say that I don't think the top is in. I think that there's a lot more bull market to go. However, I would say erring on the side of caution. If your case for the top being in, there's just too much bullish news, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like, if there's too much bullish news, it can't be. Like, it's the same thing like when NFTs got their top, everyone was going so ape shit, literally, on all these damn monkey NFT pics, things, whatever. It was like, it seemed like there was no end in sight. It was just so, everyone was buying NFTs. There was all these celebrities. They're like, Bieber just got an NFT. Jimmy Fallon bought an NFT. It was just nonstop. And then you could sit there and say, like, how could you say this is the top? Oh, Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber and Jimmy Fallon, they're all talking NFTs. This is the second coming of Messiah and Muhammad and Jesus. Like, it's all here, man. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened. So,
I want to give a big thank you. Our community member, GF Burke, sent us these dope ass. Can we do a digital zoom on this?
do you even like listen to the conversations?
No, because you talk out of your ass. So shout out to GF Burke. They sent us, he sent 2 Caspa coins. Said, thanks for what you guys do. These are hand poured. Figured out you might know someone that wanted a physical coin. It's me, I do. So here it is, the little digital zoom there. I know you can't see the beautiful sideways K here, Rob. See how heavy that is? Delicious. So big thank you. And then also, you can read the about. So the website is cascoin.shop. KASCOIN.shop. SHOP. If you want more info. So big shout out to you, GF Burke. Thank you very much. Also, speaking of mining, I want to give a big shout out to our channel partner, Revolution Mining. If you're looking to get some of those Bitcoin mining rewards, but, well, you don't got the money marathon or right does. There's one way you can do it. You can link up with Revolution Mining. It's 3 steps. 1, you get their miners at cost, right? They give you the most up-to-date hydro ASICs at their cost, no markup. Number 2, they host and power for you at a set rate of, it's like 0.052 kilowatts per hour. And then number 3 is they share the Bitcoin with you. It's a 50-50 split, right? All you pay is your monthly power, and they handle all the operations, the monitoring, the maintenance, no deposits, no support fees, no maintenance fees, free repairs too if you need them. And so if you're looking for a way to get exposure to Bitcoin mining rewards and block rewards, look no further than Revolution Mining. Out of Texas, I've met these guys. They're also Armenian, super cool guys. Todd and Ed. So shout out to them. Shout out to Revolution Mining. If you're looking to get into that, there's some links in the description. So thank you very much. With that being said, I'd like to bring on a man of many shirts. And today's shirt, I can read in the background, said, not friendly, please do not touch. Luckily for him, he's across the country, so I can't touch him. But if he was here, I would touch him. Magic. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? I didn't know you could read my shirt backstage. Very nice.
Got 4 eyes, so I'm ahead of you and Rob here. So,
believe it or not, I'm supposed to wear glasses. I just don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, glasses. You know, I always fall asleep with my glasses, and then I wake up and I can't find them. And the other day I freaked out because they were on the floor, half bent, because I guess they dropped on the floor and I stepped on them and I had to go pee during the middle of the night. And so,
I keep them in my car.
Yeah, and then also, like, you know, when I go to kiss my wife, sometimes the glasses get in the way, so I can't be slick when I'm trying to pull a move on her. So overall, it's just a burden, but I am blind, so I have to.
You got to get the strap, man. Get the strap or some goggles.
I can't.
You know?
I can't do that, dude. Like Horace Grant, AC Green, I can't do that. And then LASIK, I can't get LASIK. Spending too much time talking about my eyes. But last thing I'll say is I can't get LASIK because the prescription keeps changing. So, anyways, Magic, we're happy to have you on. Hopefully you don't need the glasses to read the charts, my friend. Bitcoin.
Nah.
121.4. Yesterday, Magic, we shared, and today we shared as well, this right here. Gina, can we show Magic this? From 2 years ago, Magic, and said the top was yesterday, 126. What are your thoughts on this? And what are you seeing on the Bitcoin chart, Magic? I have Bitcoin potentially retracing to... I had a Bitcoin chart here somewhere. Where the hell did it go? Anyways, I had Bitcoin retracing down to like 117 something. I think it was a 50% retracement from the 108 to 126 move. What are you seeing on your Bitcoin chart there, Magic? And do you think this downside is going to continue, or we see a reversal soon?
Yeah, let me get my screen up here and we'll rock and roll. So in terms of what I'm looking at on the Bitcoin chart, pretty similar to what you actually just pointed out, that 117. I believe that's actually the pretty close to the previous month high right in here. So blue boxes are basically all I'm willing to trade at this point and what I have been trading. So once we got up here, we had a nice trade with the bounce, and then you're looking for, if this doesn't hold, we're looking for the weekly average about 123.06, but realistically, you've got some levels on like a weekly time frame we do need to discuss and a monthly. So this is a fairly important area. As you know, the previous week EQ is something we talk about often here. And if we're holding it, we expect a new high, which we got. If you lose it, you're generally looking down towards the previous week low, which is way down here, which is not ideal. So looking between 119.510 and 117.931 is kind of the key support for at least the next week. When you look at something in terms of a weekly SFP level that you'll see there at the top at that 119.510, the reason I wanted to point that out is you can see that we had been failing to close a weekly candle above this level for, I don't even know how long that was, before reapproaching and finally breaking through. So coming back to this level and then giving it up is not going to look great. It would make me think that, we're going to have a pit stop around 115 and then maybe lower over time. So this box is fairly important to me in terms of this immediate uptrend. I don't think you could say the bull market is over just because you lose this box or anything. I just mean, if there's going to be new all-time highs, you're going to have to be pretty patient. But if you're a believer in the cycle theory that you just came across, which no matter how you skin it in terms of timing for Bitcoin, whether you're pulling from the last cycle low to high and then projecting off the current low, it's got it towards the third week of October. There's another method using the halving data alone that'll put you out on the second week of October, and now you've got that one putting you the first week of October. So if this is going to be a cycle like any other, you're kind of chasing the top in October here, one way or another. So maybe they're correct, maybe they're not. Time will tell. But I definitely would put some weight on things like that because the model so far has been that, and it's not broken. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I also love, Magic, that you kind of highlight the bigger price targets on the higher time frames. I think, especially me, I like to scalp trade, and I come from, not the day trading world, but like the options world. And my options usually, towards the end, I would do like 2-week expiries, which is very like the price needs to move within a day or two, and then time decay starts coming in, right? And especially for those people that, again, that are trading on the 5-minute charts, the 3-minute chart, I think it's important to have some high level targets as well on the higher time frame. So again, thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit about Solana. Again, and you say this yourself. I know you're not a big pattern trader, but you do identify patterns on charts. I'm looking at the Solana daily chart here. We failed to make a new high. Some might say this is, hey, you're coming into a little bit of a bull flag here. Some might say, this is kind of a inverse or a head and shoulders playing out, right, with your neckline there. What are you seeing on your Solana chart? Is this today's theme was buy the dip, right? It's dipping. Rob's been talking about Solana. It's kind of been, well, you look at this chart, it hasn't really been trading sideways. It's been grinding up slowly, but it hasn't really had a big explosive move that I guess people are expecting in a bull market. But is Solana at any levels, or what levels would you consider a buy the dip opportunity for Solana?
Oh, yeah. So Solana was playing out something that we were looking for, and it kind of front ran our second target here of 259. But in terms of, I'm on the monthly because I really want to put a little bit of perspective on it, that this is a pretty good monthly chart. You may have a red month here. The real key is going to be hanging on to kind of that key support and resistance that we find somewhere between $180 is kind of like your baseline, up to maybe even as high as $195. Now, the only caveat to that, and this is going to apply to, I believe, Bittensor as well later, is that we're early on in the month. And generally, we don't see inside bars for months, like almost ever on any chart. So you'll notice that no matter what, you've taken the low here, no inside bar, taken the high, taken the low, take the high, take the high, take the high. Now you're living in this zone of, no man's land of we haven't taken a high or a low. So if you take the high, you're going to formally tap resistance, and it may be a good point to sell. However, I would expect that if we do re-engage, I guess, with this support down here, it's going to be below last month's low. So if you are looking for a buy the dip, I would mark off the previous month's low, knowing that statistically speaking, it's likely to be taken. It's a very large statistical probability, like upwards of 90%. And that you're going to see at $190 or lower on Solana. And that's where you can start looking at, okay, is this a good spot to buy? What is the rest of the market doing? Did Bitcoin just absolutely, nuke itself into the floor after 1,064 days, like the anonymous prediction there? So, you use a little bit of judgment, but if you're looking for a buy, this is where I'd be looking for a purchase, is somewhere down here, looking for that SFP of the previous month, and then trying to maybe take it back up inside this, upper range here and continue to range and maybe make new highs from there. You never know.
How's Magic, if you don't mind, what's the Solana to Bitcoin chart look like, or the BTC Solana chart look like?
Sol BTC, what are we on? Binance? Yeah. It looks a lot better than most, I'll be honest.
Really?
It looks a lot better than most. Yeah, most of them look like garbage. Like it's just, down pretty much its entire history against Bitcoin, whereas this one is trying to put in what looks like a higher low. So yeah, I mean, this one kind of constructive actually in comparative. Most altcoins are going to be garbage. Even Ethereum doesn't look great against Bitcoin long term. So this one is actually doing all right. This is a really interesting higher low, I guess. It doesn't really necessarily mean you're going to make a new high, but you can see that if you fail to make a new high here, you probably will roll over, and this will roll over against Bitcoin. You'll go back to your base here. What is that, like 6,211 Satoshis? I think, is that how they're measuring that? Haven't looked at a BTC versus a pairing chart in a long time.
I believe so.
Yeah. So right now, pretty neutral. I mean, it's trying to put in some kind of a base, because keep in mind, these are monthly candles. So if it can start to take out, I would say what is this, about 22,846 Satoshis, you can start looking at this to maybe even try to make a new all-time high against its Bitcoin pairing. So, I mean, that's just how I would look at it. It'd be something like this. You're just wanting to see if it can confirm this as a low, flip support, and then you're just targeting basically the macro high of that little local consolidation in this one, and just saying, Solana is going to be doing well. However, to the flip side of that, if you start rolling over here, coming back to the base, it may not look so great. And you may see this thing eventually roll over and come back down to here, and you've got this like flat bottom of support where things start to look not so cheery for this one as like a giant double top.
Beautiful.
So neutral
Magic,
at the moment.
I'm looking at this Bittensor chart. I got into a Bittensor long at the bottom end of this range here, and this is on the daily. And we had some confluence with our volume range and the large volume node here, and kind of the top end of the range, which is exactly where Bittensor ran into some resistance. What are you seeing on the chart? Do you think this thing runs back and kind of retests the bottom end of this range, which would put the price anywhere between 287 and 285, or 285 and 287? Or what are you seeing on the Bittensor chart? Because I think this thing is going to rally, man. It's got a halving coming up in 2 months. Subnet growth. I'm speaking from a fundamental standpoint, of course, but from a TA standpoint, what are you expecting from Bittensor?
Sure. So Bittensor, very similar to Solana. You have a new month, and the beauty of a new month is you have kind of a similar setup across the board in a lot of cases. And we're in log. I'm gonna get out of log real quick here. You can see with the previous month candle, you're still living within it. And again, you don't really see this very often. Like even right here, you're barely taking the previous candle low, you've taken the low, and now you're just living inside of it. Could it happen? Yes, where it just ranges and it's just a really boring Bittensor chart for the next 30 days. But realistically, what I would do is I would map off last month into this month, and I would just say, okay, more than likely, I'm either going to see the low here at 289.99, which puts you in earshot of the support you're looking to buy, or I'm going to see the high of this move, and that high is going to come in at 372. And then I'm wondering if I can get all the way back up to 440, because that's realistically our higher time frame resistance. A good barometer for that is, I always refer to it as the EQ. It's just the middle, the median is a really good gauge a lot of times for these patterns, or not patterns, but for these types of setups. So you just mark off where the month ended, where it begins, it opens here. And you would just say, I want to continue to live up above about $330 here. And if I can do so, there's more probable and more likelihood of a chance that I'm going to see the high end of this previous month range, and I could potentially rally higher. However, the moment you start giving this 330 up, which is actually the daily candle low, essentially, you do start putting a lot of weight on potentially coming down to that support. So I would say right now it's dead smack in the middle. You're technically above it. So the chances, the way I trade, I look at the highs being more likely. However, if this starts closing below here, you're going to probably take this low out and then come down into this support zone. And macro support for me still resides on this one a little bit lower. Just kind of zooming out, it would look like so. You can see that this has been kind of your macro support for it at the 2024 open. And in fact, I could probably update this at some point, because I think it has shifted just a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of that right box now, just as like the biggest support is 247.77 that you want to see really holding. Well, actually that has shifted has it shifted lower already? We haven't updated this chart in a long time. It was here. Yeah, we have shifted down. Yeah, your quarter one low, 192. Now, I don't think you'll see that necessarily, but that is potentially some support there. I would really keep an eye on these two lows right here where you were kind of looking at, though. I think that if you see the previous month low, and that's a really terrible circle that I just drew there. If you see the previous month low, you would probably just take this overall low as well at 287, putting you within earshot of, 266. I'm not a fan of this thing under that 250 mark. And the only reason is you've got a lot of lower highs and a really flat bottom of support here. So I would want to see this thing continue to hold. If it takes these two lows, which is, something that can happen, I'd want to see a good bounce out of like anywhere from like mid 260s up to like 285 level. I think that you'd want to move that up a little bit. I know it was down here at 240s, but I think if you see 240s, you're probably just going to go ahead and cruise on down to like 220 to 192. So yeah, I would want to see 265 up to like 285. That box would move up a little bit.
Beautiful. Awesome. Anything else you wanted to share, Magic, before I release you?
Oh man. No, not really. I never really have too much. I guess if you guys are looking for like a link spot, I think I had a link chart at some point. If for anyone that's in the link, you guys always ask me if I'm looking for any charts.
Hell yeah,
link was one I was just
especially if it's
especially let me get I know what charts that's in YouTube. I was actually looking at the Link XRP pairing. It is not looking rosy for Link versus XRP at the moment, unless it reclaims, like these lows here. But yeah, so there was a setup that was bearish on this one that we were kind of monitoring. We were looking at the highs here, and this was something that, that was shared pretty prolifically in the group by several people looking for a pullback on Link into about the $19 flat range. And we kind of front ran our target. So this is a pretty large pattern. I'm actually still expecting to see that unless, price pumps up past borderline this high right here. So I'm looking still down a little bit on Link. So if you've missed this Link dip, I think that you're going to get a second opportunity. And if you get it, this is the ideal support to be purchasing at, in my opinion, right here. So that box comes in at $18.99 down to, is that $17.96? Yeah, $18.99 down to $17.96 was kind of the big first target of this pattern. So if reached, I'm looking to maybe potentially pick some Link up there.
Beautiful. I had a limit order at 1997. I'm changing it to 1901. Let's go, baby. I don't know. Maybe last time I think I took a trade when you were doing the charts last time, and pretty sure I made some money on it.
Yeah,
I'll randomly do that.
That was a Link one.
Yeah, like Crypto Face was on one time, and I do the same thing. I just, I do it, man. I remember to give credit. I try to remember to give credit. Okay, Magic, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to prompt your Discord link for those that want more Magic Internet money. Make sure to go join his Discord. And then he joins us every Tuesday at 10:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Magic, thank you again, brother. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Take care. You know we haven't done it in a while?
Back rubs.
No.
No.
You haven't butchered names in a while, man.
Well, you're telling me now, like I haven't wrote any names down. So, yeah.
You can't do a quick glimpse of the names?
If you are new here, say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out. We got a couple familiar faces.
Give me what you got. The best.
We got Mag999. We got Donnie here. Poolman. He's been here before.
They both.
Moon Knight.
What about the GTZ?
No, he's been here before. Yeah. So to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, please subscribe.
That was very weak. Not a weak. Okay.
There's not a lot of new people in the chat anyways.
What? That hasn't stopped you in the past. Anyways. Let's talk about, so Magic kind of broke down the charts. I'm curious, you think a $222 Solana is a good buy the
It's
dip
a steal, bro.
at $222?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think anything under $300, and I know the all-time high is, what was it, 260? Something like that?
280. We'll call it 300.
I'm forward looking now. Maybe your time horizon is different. I'm forward looking. I would say 6 months or so. I think Solana deeply undervalued for where I think it's going to be. Bitcoin's at all-time highs. Solana not quite there yet. Once the profits roll over to the altcoins, it's either going to land in ETH or Solana. Is there a third landing spot that will consume majority of altcoin money, like in a large percentage, like in like a big share of the pie, right? It's not going to be, hey, Bitcoin rallied and then altcoin season was led by someone outside of ETH or Solana. It's going to be one of the two, right? It just kind of depends on what you personally think is going to be the next.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking.
The common sense meter is figuring out where to go.
So basically, you got like two paths here, right? There's you're going to make money, right? And then there's going to come a fork in the road. And where is that money going to go next?
Why can't
Does it go Solana or does it go to ETH?
Why can't there ever be a spoon in the road? What is your favorite utensil? You look like a spork kind of guy.
These guys.
No, you look like a spork kind of guy.
Break a clam open just by looking at it.
Breaking clams with your hand, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be gentle with it.
You just look at it and just be like, hey, you.
Some clams are very delicate. If you crush them too hard, the shells break.
What's wrong with you, bro?
You started the clam. Anyways, you look like a spork kind of guy. You know, the spoon and the fork? The ones you used to get when you were eating food in middle school? The lunches? Anyways. Okay. You know what I think? I'm just going to, I'm going to throw this out there right now. I think XLM is about to explode. I really do. It's at 38 cents. I think XLM is going to rally back up.
Does XLM, is there any chance XLM rallies if XRP doesn't?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I know a lot of people.
I mean, look at the correlation.
Yeah.
It's. I have zero faith. I'll be honest with you that XLM rallies without XRP.
They've
like there's
last 1 year they just.
And so if your narrative is, hey, XRP is going to break out, like, and you tell me why.
Who's got more upside?
Smaller market cap,
Exactly.
obviously.
Like I'm calling it right now, XLM.
No, but my thing is that
can't even make it.
What is going to rally XLM and XRP? What is going to make it? And XRP is going to move first, right? XLM moved immediately after XRP, right? You had the breakout there, and then almost immediately you had XLM breakout. And that was late last year. And you could even argue that it led the altcoin market because immediately after XRP shot up to $3, then 30 days later, you had all the tops for all the other alts, right? Yeah, the top for the cycle top here, the local top, the recent December/January highs that we got out of the altcoin markets, those came off of the back of XRP leading the way. And so if you sell me on why XRP will rally, then I'm bought in on XLM rallying. But you can't get one without the other, not at this point in time.
Then yes, both will rally.
Off of what premise?
Off of technical analysis.
Okay. Fair point.
I'm putting in a long trade right now. I'm putting an XLM long. So with XLM, we went over this on the trading show yesterday. Rob, this is a pattern that started in July of this year. So this is a 100-day pattern. It is a larger bull flag / falling channel. We have price breakout, confirmed retest one time, rallies, tops out, and it's currently one at the previous support level, right? This trend line, retesting again. Two, we have some confluence with our largest volume node on this time frame, which is right where price is now. And so I expect a bounce. Could it go the opposite way? Sure, it can, right? It's, trading is all about probabilities. But I don't think this is going to be a deviation. And I don't think it's going to come back into this pattern. So what's the other option? Well, it bounces and it moves forward. And when you look at this, if it can break 41 cents, there's nothing here, right? This is like dead zone. Your next target is like 47 cents as far as volume, okay? This is also where we had resistance, right? Multiple wicks, and then we ultimately came back and retested the bottom end of that range. But I'm targeting much higher, dude. I'm targeting, the targets I have, if the breakout were to happen from here, is cycle highs. Beating cycle highs, 67.3 cents. That is my target for XLM on this breakout. And so I put in a long. If you guys want to follow us on our trades, first of all, you should watch our trading show, which we do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays right after the live. And then also get into our Discord, man. You don't pay us anything. It's free. Get into our Discord, create a Buy DeFi account, deposit $100 for you to trade with, and then verify, and you'll be in the trades. We hit we nailed an AVE short yesterday. Although closed it a little early, but that's okay, right? No one goes broke taking profits. Could have let it run a little longer, but we didn't. Still made like 20 some odd % on it, so pretty good. But yeah, I think XLM's going to rally. If you're an XLM spot holder, you're waiting for a dip, this might be a great opportunity to potentially look at adding more. And then Bittensor, I think Bittensor, anything under $400, I think is a massive steal. Massive steal. And it's got a big catalyst kind of, something interesting, Rob. Someone on X was saying Zcash is going through a halving next month. There's a Zcash halving next month. Zcash has rallied. Now, we're not saying that 100% of the Zcash rally is because of the halving, right? But are you willing to attribute some of the rally to the halving coming up in the next month? It's a yes. It's a yes or no question.
I just have to bring.
No, you can't ever just give a
no,
yes or
no.
No, you can't. No. You're incapable. You're not. You can't do it. It's a very simple question.
Can I make a very simple statement?
None of your points and statements are simple, but yeah, go ahead.
Last week, when I was on a very long tangent on Zcash, and you were barely paying attention to me, I was telling you, I started saying, I was like, hey, on their roadmap, they're working, they got a halving, and there was also a couple other bullet points I was trying to point out. And you literally threw your hands up and said, nobody cares about Zcash and what they're doing. Nobody cares about Zcash and what they're doing. And I'm like sitting here, and on my screen, I got halving, and then there was like two other things they had going on. And I was like, and then I just was like, okay, fine. And then fast forward a week. You're like, hey, the Zcash halving is coming up. Do you put a lot of weight to this? I'm like, is this real life? Is this actually happening?
That took about a minute for you to make a very quick point.
And yet again, I was trying to explain to you that I was trying to pull up the freaking Zcash roadmap. I was trying to talk about the halving last week.
I hurt you, man. I'm sorry.
And you literally were like, nobody cares about Zcash.
That was a week ago.
And then all of a sudden you're like,
just like you. And
I
AI,
want to know.
Just like you and literally everything. You and ETH, you and AI, you and this, you and that.
No, if I ask you a question, I would like to hear the answer. You know,
interesting. When I ask a question, I would also like to hear an answer.
The reason I didn't answer is because the previous time this subject was brought up, you laughed and scoffed at me.
Talk about Zcash
and now all of a sudden you're like, no, I'm just simply want to know. Do you hold weight to the halving? And I was sitting there like, I was trying to bring this up last week and you didn't want to listen to me.
Last week, my dog ate a piece of pizza out of the trash can. That's not the point. This is this week, so we're talking about this week, okay?
Why is your dog eating pizza out of the trash?
And I'm sorry I hurt you last week, okay? You obviously are very upset. But this is a new week. It's a new me. I love Zcash. Just kidding.
The top is in, guys. The top is in. If you hold Zcash, sell it immediately. The next thing I know, we're gonna be pumping.
Listen.
We're gonna be pumping gas. The cashier, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you recommend a crypto?" Dave's gonna be like, "Hey man, Zcash, buy it." The second I hear that conversation with third-party people that have no idea what crypto's going on, I'm like, sell, short.
Listen, I'm kidding. I don't love Zcash. I recognize that it has a lot of potential. But okay, so what would you say? It's a majority? Like, does it have a big impact, or you think it's kind of like there's other things that you would put ahead of it, of the halving?
I think there's, I'll be honest with you, there is a need, and, you know, to talk about this last week, there is a need for privacy and transactions. Not for majority of people, but there's a lot of situations, right? It's just like, you might not need a prenup. You might not need one. But it might be a good idea to have it if you need it. Feel me?
You still didn't answer the question, man. It's a very simple
I'm just saying, sometimes you need some security, bro.
Okay.
And sometimes you need some privacy.
The question is, did the upcoming halving have an impact on the price, or was it something else? Did it have a 20% impact, a 30% impact, a 5% impact?
No, it's all about its utility, right? I don't think they're having anything to do with it.
You don't think the halving had anything to do with it? No. So all the halvings with Bitcoin, you see a run up prior to the halving, it's nothing. It doesn't translate to Zcash.
I'm not saying it has zero effect, but I'm saying that
this is the longest fucking question.
The reason it rallied realistically was because people needed an option for privacy. If I need to send crypto without everyone knowing it, there's what other chain are you going to use? Monero? That thing's blacklisted on everything. So if you're an institution, you're a publicly traded company, you need to send money without it being televised across, the world. You don't want everyone to know. You need anonymity. Then, hey, you know what? Zcash is about your only option. It's proof of work, so it's secure. It's been around. And so, yeah, there you go.
Okay. So I think the halving had something to do with the price action, not everything. And then, you look at, what's another popular project that's got a halving coming up? Starts with a B, ends with an R. The name of the token is a nightclub here in Las Vegas. Bittensor. It's Bittensor. Tau. Halving December 10th. Could we see a rally? We're seeing things lining up. AI, narratives heating up, right? Big AMD news, big NVIDIA news as they cross $4.5 trillion. Breakout. Ultimately, this was a failure, but I think this breaks out eventually. I still have my Bittensor long position. If you guys remember, this was at 1,000 in profit yesterday, and it's down to 600. I don't care. I have a liquidation point low enough to where I feel comfortable. I do have stop losses, obviously, but I feel very confident. And could the end of October, beginning of November, be a massive Tau rally where we see this thing go to 12 to 1,500 bucks? I think yes. I really do. And so from 300 to 1,500, that's a 3x. Excuse me, that's a 5x from a top 50 project. Pretty good returns. So XLM and Bittensor, I think these are great buys right now. It's what I've added to my portfolio in my bag. So yeah. All right. I want to talk about this is big news, man. Take a look at this. We're talking about ICE. No, not the
Portland thing going on?
No, not the customs enforcement, whatever. But the Intercontinental Exchange. This is the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Well, guess who they've invested in, Rob? They've invested $2 billion into Polymarket, the largest private round in crypto history. Crypto history. And then when you look at this was posted by DeFi Jeff. By the way, great account to follow if you don't follow. Oh, I don't even follow. I thought I follow. Am I on my personal? I think I'm on my personal account. Okay, but since the account, I was like, great account to follow. I was like, wait, we're following them. Anyway. This is on my personal account. Okay, anyways, yes, follow them. We follow them. What I got away from Token 2049 this year, prediction markets and perps are the future. Perps equals big, growing pie, red ocean. Red ocean, referring to there's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. Red ocean is where all the clutter is. Blue ocean is you're creating a new subset of customers that for the product, but in the same niche. I guess I know it's a short explanation, and then the prediction markets, small, rapidly growing, blue ocean, new meme coin trenches. AI hype is gone. More quality builders. Actual fundamental emerges towards infrastructure, decentralized AI, and real revenue. And this was posted prior to this announcement. And so when you think about prediction markets, right? You got Polymarket, you got Kalshi, but look within that. Why do you guys think I keep talking about Bittensor and Sire? You look at Bittensor and the subnets, and how many of them have predictions markets? Sports Tensor is a subnet 41. Score is subnet 44. You have a bunch of other ones that are created and built around prediction markets and perpetual trading. So it ultimately benefits Bittensor as a whole. Then you have deeper in the trenches projects like Sire, like AI on 5100. These are projects that are in the predictions markets that are using their token as a way to get people exposure and a way to get people to make money, and then they create a flywheel to appreciate the price of the token and appreciate the value of the token. So this is one reason I've been very bullish on not just AI, but predictions markets and stuff like what Sire is doing. So to me, this is going to be a massive, massive narrative moving forward, I think even past 2025. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty big news. What are your thoughts on this? Polymarket is going public. Largest private round in crypto history. You think there's going to be a surge, Rob, in predictions markets and maybe prediction AI projects?
Possible. We've seen a epic run from Polymarket. What about the Polymarket airdrop? I know that's been rumored.
There's always rumors of airdrops, always when a new company.
But there was a lot of indication for that. I
think the important thing is them being able to operate in the U.S. Because remember, can't do Polymarket in the U.S. unless you go around and do the
all that's coming down.
That's what I'm saying. So
all that's coming down.
If they've raised $2 billion, Rob, without access to the U.S. markets,
it's hard to ignore.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll just put it this way: it's hard to ignore. Now, I don't know how far down the trickle effect is. I don't know if anything similar to Polymarket will rally, or if it'll just be Polymarket absorbing majority of growth as far as market cap and numbers. Be very interesting to see if and when a Polymarket token comes out. I think it will. I find it hard to believe they won't get one. When it does, I think it'll be probably the largest airdrop in the history of airdrops. Bigger than the Cardano Midnight.
So you're saying it's going to be huge?
Yeah, and I think they're going to give it to all the users that used Polymarket. And anyways, regardless of what airdrop comes down the line, it's an industry that you can't ignore. It's going to grow. It's hard to make a case for a casino. The spreads on casinos are pretty heavy, and it's usually ran by a group of people, a couple people that are out here trying to update the sports lines, and there's people trying to arbitrage, and it's just not really efficient. And so when you look at crypto, it tends to solve problems that are not efficient. Hey, let's send money internationally. Let's keep all data transparent and up to in real time. And so there's a lot of things that crypto excels at, and I think one of them is going to be the exchange of money from one side to another locked up in a smart contract. That's exactly what sports betting is.
It's
right?
PvP, right?
Yeah.
It's not PvB, right? It's player versus player. It's not player versus business.
Yeah.
And it's the most natural way. All right. People always talk about it, and rightfully so.
Because what is it? What is a sports bet? Think of it this way. What is a
You're
sports
betting
bet?
against the house.
No. You're betting against someone else.
Correct.
And so if I go into a sports book, let's say
the sports book is what controls the lines. So
no, they
well, I'm sure they have
they're
algorithms and
raking.
shit like that.
They're raking. So it's just like it's like sitting down playing poker, right?
They
you
want
sit
50-50 on both sides.
Yeah, but it's like playing poker. The dealer, the house is there just to rake. What is it? 2% of every hand, right? They just want to take 2% of every hand played. That's how they make it, and it's P versus P. Person versus person. It's the same with the sports book. If I go into the sports book and I drop $500,000 or $5 million on one side, I personally move the line. Because why? Because now there needs to be more money on the other side. So they're incentivizing. They drop the line. It's person versus person. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that happens on Polymarket. But instead of Caesar's Palace or MGM taking 10% of the ticket, so for every $100, you got to give Caesars $10. What's the cost on Polymarket? A fraction of all of that. I don't know exactly where we're at on the percentage, but it pales in comparison, and so just way more efficient. And the lines move in real time. You don't have somebody setting it, right? And to what you were trying to allude to is that hey, they control the line. They do. And it's a human, right? And I'm sure they use computers, but they got to adjust this thing in real time. You know what? The order books will adjust itself in real time when you use decentralization like Polymarket.
And I think the other unique thing about Polymarket is you don't have to wait until, like, if you put a bet in, right?
Yeah, cash out anytime.
You cash out anytime. You don't have to wait till the bet is settled.
Which the apps are doing that now for sports betting.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, that's in-game trading.
No. I mean, well, yes.
So
well,
I
it depends on your account. So you can.
So I can't say in the beginning of the year I'm going to put $1,000 that the Miami Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl. All of a sudden they sign Tom Brady out of retirement and their odds jump. I don't have to wait till the Miami Dolphins win. I can scalp.
Here you can take your ticket to the window. Like here's a good example. When the Vegas Golden Knights first year they were going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they almost won the whole thing. A lot of people bought the tickets as a novelty. The sportsbook you could go to the sportsbook and trade it in early, and then get a return on investment. And at one point, they almost gave like 70% of the ticket's value, which they didn't win, but you could have went and cashed in early instead of holding it.
That's them trying to
claw back.
Yeah.
But you can do that on a lot of instances, and then it's baked into the apps. Tell you I think that platforms like Polymarket is making legacy sports betting modify their features, right? And give different abilities to sports bettors. And I think they see it coming. Not to mention people like it, right?
Yeah. I haven't used it, but I look forward to using it. Yeah. All right, that'll do it for the show today. I know I mentioned I was going to talk about virtuals. We are out of time, but I will cover that tomorrow. That's a promise. I'll make sure it's at the front end of the show. That's all I got. Anyone else?
Nope.
Roll the outro. Thank you. We love you. See you tomorrow.
Sin City Crypto. Cassius Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the whale members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.